You find yourselves in. You find yourself. Sorry, I was rather distracted there. Morning all. How the devil are you? I hope all is well. I think I'm in trouble. I think I am. I was talking to Wheels Not Heels a little while back. Well, I wasn't talking, but, you know, commenting on a video. And we were talking about bike lust. And I was saying that I've never known a biker who doesn't lust after a bike. Constantly. Doesn't matter what he's had, what he's got. There's always something more that you want, another bike that you want. There's always something on the horizon. Oh, there's a new bike out, whatever. It's just, it seems to be a natural thing. I think everybody who rides bikes goes through that. Well, it struck me again. Before I bought the NC, and I was looking around for an all-weather bike, yeah, I looked at the XT 660, but beyond that I looked at the Triumph Scrambler, which is rather expensive, and I don't think it's really a Scrambler. I think it's a street bike with style. And one of the other bikes I looked at was the Ducati Scrambler, which wasn't out at the time, but I looked at the bike and I thought, wow, that is a corking little bike. It would be so much fun. Anyway, it wasn't out, so I didn't sort of pursue it, didn't look at prices or anything like that. But since it was a brand new bike, I thought there's no way. And also thought, it's a Ducati, it's going to cost an absolute fortune. So I just sort of dismissed it out of hand. Anyway, MotoGeo's latest video, I think it was called Get Dirty. They do some really corking videos, and this was just a really good, sort of feel-good video featuring the Ducati Scrambler, which prompted me to look into it a little bit more. Now, I can't afford one. Yes, it would be nice to have one, but, you know, I've got two bikes. I'm very, very happy with the NC. I'm not switching, but I do really like the Scrambler. And anyway, I had a look at prices. Less than £7,000 for the Ducati Scrambler Icon, which is the entry level. Which I just thought, is that wrong? Is that a typo? You know what I mean? It can't just be that price, but it is. Just on that £7,000, which I just think is an absolute steal. I mean, unless the thing is built on a budget. I mean, let's face it, the NC, it's built on a budget. It is. But, you know, it does its purpose. It does its job. It gets you a good bike that does everything. But I can't really see Ducati building a bike to a budget. They don't seem to be that kind of a company. But, yeah, it just blew me away. I don't know if you've seen this thing. You probably have. I'm sure you have. But, I'll put a link to the MotoGeo latest video. I'll have a watch. It's a good video just to watch, to be honest. Yeah, but it's an 800. It's an L twin. Looks nice. Obviously they had the original Scrambler out in 1970s, 72 or something like that, I think. It's an air cooled. I've seen some mixed reviews. Some of the reviewers saying you can't really take it off-road and what have you. I don't think it's meant for sort of motocross kind of thing, you know what I mean? I think it's meant for sort of light trails, if you like. But again, in the MotoGeo video, he tools this thing all over the place. And I know Ducatis used to be delicate. I'm assuming that's not the case anymore. But yes, that would be a very nice little bike. I'd have a lot of fun on that. I mean, this thing, I have to admit it's gutless on the motorways. You get pretty bored and you feel like you can't really do anything. You know what I mean? You get up to sort of 70 and you sit there and like that's it. If you needed to, you couldn't really twist the throttle and go at that speed. It would take quite a while. But other than that, I mean, around the streets, which is where I really, really love this bike. It's what I want it for. I don't like motorways anyway. I'd much rather avoid them if I can. But around the streets, you can absolutely fling this thing around. I love it. I mean, I used to tool around a Triumph 1050 Speed Triple. I had a couple of them. And I used to absolutely chuck them all over the place. But even those, I don't think I could get them around corners. I get this thing around corners at speed. I went out the other night just to get some petrol. I didn't have the camera on, I just nipped out, nipped back. And I was just wringing this thing's neck, and I'm not kidding. I think if I had stuck me there out a couple of more inches, I would have been scraping along the deck. This thing is just so agile, so flexible. It's absolutely great to ride. Anyway, and with that in mind now, because I didn't really expect it when I bought it, to be honest. I expected it to be quite sort of sedate everywhere. You know, I thought it probably does an adequate job of everything at every stage. But it's now I've got to know it. It's not. It's an absolute scream around the streets, and I think that's why I've turned myself back onto the Scrambler, because that thing. If you look at that, that's exactly what that thing is going to do. But the way it's set up, with a decent travel suspension in the back, high bars, it's sort of sat upright. The position and everything is ideal for chucking it around, which is what I'm loving at the minute. So, but I'm not going to the showrooms, because if I see one of these things in real life, you know what that does. Every single time I'll be, oh, how much would he give us for my bike? No, that's a bit dangerous, is that? Cows. Can you believe they keep cows in a field in Newcastle upon Tyne, in the city? You know, is that just a little bit odd? I live here. I've always lived here, and I still think that's odd. Buy these strips do a job, lad. Oh, I've got some lovely heat going on, yeah, and I'm only got it at 75%. Oh, it's now 2 minutes past 7. I'm usually at work by now. With all the faff and fiddle of bringing the bike, even though I sort of pre-prepare everything the night before, well, as much as you can, I always seem to run late on the bike. I know it's a bit different because you've got to put all the gear on, the gloves and the lid and what have you. And I have to admit, sometimes I think, is it worth it? You know what I mean? All the hassle of putting all the gear on and stuff like that. And then you get to where you're going and you've got to take all the gear off, make sure the bike's secure, and then you feel a bit paranoid right the way through the day because the bike's outside. And you can't always say anything. Oh, is it all right? And then you come to leave and You got to do all the gear again. But when you get out and you're on it, especially when it's nice and warm, it's getting warmer now, and it just makes it all worth it. Especially when you find yourself on a nice quiet road and you're just pottering along, or you got some tight twisties and you're flinging around there. There's nothing better. There's nothing better. I do still wish Mrs. Ash could come with us. We used to go out quite a bit together before MS got really bad. But, so now when I go out, I'm constantly thinking about poor Mrs. Ash not being able to come with us. So it must be a sickness. She says she doesn't mind. She says she just wants me to have fun and everything. And I'm sure she's being completely honest. But, you know, when somebody else is doing something that you love, you know, there must be something in the back of your mind there. So whenever I'm riding, I'm always thinking about her. I'm always feeling a little bit guilty. I do still enjoy it, of course. But, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm starting to get all sentimental. Oh, Christ, listen to this knob. I don't know if you can hear that. He's got his daft little Corsa. He's got his thumpy music going. You need to get a life, lad. You need to get a bike. Anyway. Whew. I'm not far off work. So, I'm going to call it quits. Since my mind has run dry. And I'll catch you on the next one. Jewel pip chaps and chapettes. See you later. Sayonara, as they say.